All right, so my friends, welcome to the final section of my March of the Machine complete set review. We've now done all of the cards in the set. So why are we still here? There's a special Legends, Multiversal Legends sheet, similar to Retro Artifacts in Brothers War, similar to Mystical Archives in Strixhaven, which is going to be a sheet of 65 cards that are reprints, that have their special art treatments or whatever. They are not going to be legal in Standard. They will be legal in the draft format, which is actually huge. That is a big part of the draft format. If you recall how much the Brothers War artifacts affected Brothers War and so on and so forth. And then they're also going to be legal in Historic, which is one of my favorite formats on Arena. I love Historic. I'm a big fan. The big downside here is they're all ugly as sin. All just these awful frames that I hate. If you like them, that's good for you, I guess. But so let's go through and get all of them. And if you missed any of the set review, it's all going to be on YouTube. All the colors, all the cards, like, comment, subscribe. Do all the things, all the buttons, and let's rock and roll with Anafenza, Kin Tree Spirit. And then there are rarities here. There are mythics, there are rares, and there are uncommons. So you're going to see these uncommons a lot. These are obviously very different than things like Chromatic Star, Chromatic Star, Elsewhere, Flask. Those are the kind of cards that are like, whatever. They're just like, they're very good in their formats, but they're like, coggy parts, whatever. These are all legends. So tons of legends. We'll see. So Anafenza, of course, most well known as a combo card in Modern. 2 for 2. And for another non-token creature you control, ETBs, Bolster 1. As if there wasn't enough words in the set already. Anyway, Bolster is a mechanic where the creature with the least toughness among creatures you control gets a counter on it. This is a good card, obviously, but it is white, a little hard to cast. It obviously has counter synergies with the counter mechanic in green and white in draft. It is new to Historic, which I don't think matters that much, honestly. It's a spirit? Oh, I don't know. So for the most part, this is, for Historic, not super relevant. For Limited, this is definitely going to be relevant, but it's a rare, so, that's a thing. So that's that. Up next, we have Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. This is a white for a 2-star. Counts the devotion to white. Whenever a creature you control ETBs or dies, you gain 1 life. Another fine card. Not super exciting or anything. It's an enchantment. Already in Historic, so no relevance there. For Limited, it's an uncommon. This card's going to pop up fairly often. Doesn't really have to have much synergy with the set. There's no life gain synergy in the set. There's not really many enchantment synergy in the set. So, just kind of like a card that's going to be in your draft packs, which is like fine. It's fun. Elish Norn, Grand Cenobite. This is the original Elish Norn. 7 mana, 4/7 vigilance. This pumps your team, shrinks their team. Very good reanimation target. This is not currently in Historic, and it is a card that does see some play as a reanimation target, which is pretty powerful. In Limited, this card is like basically impossible to beat. It is 7 mana, but if you cast this thing, you are got to be like upwards of 90% to win if they can't kill it immediately, and even then it kills all their stuff too. So. Oh, it's an Historic. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, it was in an anthology. You're right. I apologize. All the original Predators were in an anthology. That's my bad. So, nothing new for Historic. Limited Bomb. It's a mythic. Kenrith the Return King. Of course, also in Historic already. This is a pretty insane limited card too. 5/5 for 5. Lots of abilities. Most important abilities in limited being probably the black and the maybe green abilities. But they're all good, honestly. I say red while being the most important in constructed, probably the least important in limited. But he's back. Old Kenny. Pretty good limited card. Quend Pride of Femerif. This is a 4 mana 2/2. Human Knight, which is important. With double strike. And then creatures you control with first strike have double strike. There are some first strike cards in the set. This is also a Knight. This will be relevant. This is also an uncommon, so you're going to see it fairly often. Just fine. Not super exciting, but fine. It's a limited, reasonable card. Saram, Senior Edificer, also in Historic. 2 for 2. If you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. There are some vehicles in the set. Equipments in the set. Mostly concentrated in red. Oh, there are a few in white also. So this is kind of a fun draft card where, like, it's not really in the right home, but it's a bear, which is fine. You'll just play it anyway, and you might draw a card over here or there too, which is kind of cool. Puts you into, trying, and maybe I'll play that one equipment in my deck that wasn't that great because I have a Saram, which is kind of cool. Honestly, this is a fun card for Limited. This card is a lot of what makes these extra sheets fun in Limited. I love Strixhaven Mystical Archives, and I love the Brothers War Retro Artifacts because they put this really unique flavor into the format where you're like, oh, okay, Now I have this like Saram, like that makes me evaluate cards a little bit differently, which is kind of cool. But it's not busted either. It's just like this kind of like cool card. So Saram's sweet, like Saram. Dahlia Gyre and Thraben, obviously already in standard right now, so nothing new as far as the card goes. It's a soldier, not a knight. It's going to be fine and limited. It's 2 on first strike. Body's pretty good. Not super exciting and limited, but certainly fine. Reasonable for sure. That's it. That's all white cards. So blue cards. Baral, Chief of Compliance. This card's also already in on Arena. 1/3 for 2. Makes all your instant source spells cost 1 less. And if you counter things, you get to loot. This card is actually very good and going to be very, very good in the blue archetypes in this format, which have a lot of Convoke and a lot of expensive Convoke spells. If this is a creature you can Convoke with, it also makes things cost cheaper, so this is going to make those spells a lot better. Definitely going to be a very, very impactful card in the draft format, I think, as a 1/3. Pretty cool. Constructed's already there, so. Emery or Lurker Velak, also already on Arena. This card doesn't have a lot to do, right? There aren't like that many artifacts in the set. There are some artifacts in black, which is kind of interesting. And if you're able to recur things, it's obviously great, but there really aren't that many. So this is kind of a weird one. I don't think this is going to do a ton in limited. But, and there's going to be one of these in every pack, just like there were with Brothers War and Strixhaven. And again, the uncommons will be the most common, for sure. Igna Rune Eyes. Somewhat forgettable legend from Kaldheim. This is a 3/3 for 4. When ETB scry 3, and then if it dies, you can draw 3 cards if 3 or more other creatures also die this turn. So kind of a weird card where it's just like an okay creature. It's a 3/3, you scry with it, whatever. And then maybe you get in this combat step later where like a few things trade off and like you draw 3. But it's pretty unlikely, honestly. Kind of just a weird fillery whatever card. Jingataxis, of course, already on Arena in Historic. 10 mana is a lot. Not really a card you're going to play in Limited. So this is almost irrelevant in almost all capacities. Tetsuko Umizawa Fugitive. 2 mana, 1/3. It's an uncommon. You'll see it a lot. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. Good draft card, obviously. 1/3 unblockable for 2 is fine. Has the possibility to make more things unblockable. Wears counters well. Sorry, it does not wear counters well because it'll not be unblockable anymore. But just a fine, okay draft card. Nothing super exciting. Moving on to black, we get Ayara, First of Lochthwain. I love this card. Huge fan of this card. 2/3. Whenever it or creature ETBs drain for 1, sack black creature, draw a card. Unfortunately, this sacrifices black creatures, not like any creature or not artifacts also. So synergy-wise, this is not really going to be that impactful in the set, but the card's obviously fine. It is definitely difficult to cast. If you can cast it in your draft deck, it'll be fine, but not the most exciting card of all time. But yeah, definitely a cool card. Like it a lot. Hirobi, Death's Wail. This is a new card to Historic. Used to be a player back in Standard like a million years ago, but not really that good anymore, honestly. 4 mana for a 4/4 flyer. And it is has the ability, whenever a creature becomes target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. So this thing dies to anything, but so does everything else. So this was good back in the day when Ravager Affinity was a thing. And there were a lot of effects in that deck that would target your own creatures. Like you're putting counters here and there. And this would be very, very good against that. This could be a possible sideboard card, maybe in a Historic against like some sort of counter deck or whatever, but for the most part, it's not really going to do that. This is just a weird, quirky card in the draft format. It's a 4/4 flyer. It's pretty big. It's awkward with backup, because I believe your opponent can back up your creatures, so they can just kill it. And there's a lot of ways to do that, so. Sizan, Perverter of Truth. Cool old Kamigawa card. This is a 5 mana 6/5. Meaning each player's upkeep, they draw 2 and lose 2. So kind of a weird card where it's aggressive. Your opponent's going to lose 2 first, but also draw 2 first. So weird card, pretty big. Another one of those kind of oddball cards in a draft format where like it's pretty good, honestly. But they draw 2 cards first, which is rough, but it's big. It's a real like, well, if it lives, it's kind of cool. If it dies, it's kind of bad. But kind of a cool card. Honestly, it's pretty fun card back and forth to have in play. Shouldered Whispering 1, already in Historic, and then in Limited, obviously unbeatable if it lives. 7 mana, 6/6, kills things, return things. It is expensive, but if it lives, it's going to win you the game. Skitherix the Blight Dragon. This one's new to Historic, I believe. This is a 5 mana 4/4 flying with Infect. It can gain haste and regenerate. Obviously very good in Limited, it's just a big flyer, and can kill your opponent in a few turns with Infect. In Constructed, I think this has no chance. It's just too clunky and expensive, but definitely another weird oddball Limited card. Timerit, Chosen from Death, similar to Daxos. 2 mana, Pip, Devotion, uncommon, has toughness equal to Devotion into black, and then it can also exile cards from graveyards. Again, it's a passable limited card. It's not super exciting. Doesn't really have much synergy with any of the things happening in the set, but it's fine. You'll play it. Yargle! If you need a 9/3 for your draft deck, I suppose Yargle will do. It's not particularly great. Low toughness, but hey, you know. Moving on to red, we have Captain Lannery Storm, which is a 3-mana 2/2 with haste. Whenever it attacks, make a treasure. Whenever you sack a treasure, pump it. Just a good card, honestly. Also will play very, very well in the red-black draft decks because of the treasure making is excellent with the sacrifice mechanics. So definitely a good draft card for sure to watch out for.
Still a piece of garbage.
Not gonna lie, try and keep the curse to a minimum. I am fucking pissed about this. I'm basically, I used to love Modern, kind of off it these days. Ragavan's definitely a part of that. I love Historic, and now we get Ragavan and Historic. The thing I love about Historic the most is it's not like Modern. No fetch lands, you know, no fetch land try-on mana bases, no Ren 6, yada yada yada, no stupid Modern Horizons cards, no Furies, no Solitudes. And now they're starting to infect my favorite format in Historic, and that pisses me off. I'm not going to lie. I am very, very unhappy about this. Someone said in chat recently that, like, that Watsy said that they are eventually going to have fetch lands and stuff in Historic. And I think that's just the worst mistake possible. This makes me angry. I am pissed. Do not like this at all. We'll see. They can nerf it, I suppose, which is reasonable. They can just ban it, you know, like Lightning Bolts. Like, I don't know how Lightning Bolt's not legal and this card is, but I also think Lightning Bolt shouldn't be legal. So, pretty unhappy with this. Obviously, in Limited, I mean, someone's going to have turn 1 Ragavan at the Pro Tour, and their opponent is not going to be happy about it. One of the best creatures of all time. I don't have anything else to say. It's a mythic, won't show up that often, but in draft, open Ragavan, you're great. In Historic, I'm just pissed. I'm very, very unhappy. So we're gonna move on to the next card before I get mad. Squee, that makes me happy. I like Squee. Squee's cool. Red 1. This is the Squee the Immortal. This is the 2/1. You may cast in Graveyard Exile. Not really a super impactful card. It's already on Arena. Really cool art though. This is the one art style that I actually kind of like. I still think I'd be happier if it was just regular art, but it's kind of cool. Cool draft card, cool sacrifice, but also cool in sacrifice decks. You can keep sacrificing and bringing it back. Just a fine limited card. Nothing super exciting. It's not like a slam dunk bomb or anything like that, but it's a good card. Urabrask the Hidden, 5 mana 4/4. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures your opponent control come tapped. Obviously, this is a great draft card. It's well statted, well sized. I think it's already on Arena, so it's kind of whatever. It's not a very constructed card, but definitely a really cool limited card to have access to. Pretty powerful. Not overtly powerful, but just a good draft card. Valdurk, Keeper of the Flame. This one's interesting because this one, kind of like Saram, is sort of this oddball synergy card. It doesn't have that much support in the set, but it's statted well enough where, like, it's just a 3/2. You just play it anyway, and it might do things too. This is a 3/2 for 3. Beginning of combat in your turn. For each aura, equipment, and equipment attached to Valdurk, you get a 3/1 red elemental token with trample and haste, and they go away, which is cool, obviously. And there are some auras, I've said there are some equipments. So, a little nice bonus value there, kind of a fun one. And then just, you know, a 3/2 for 3 is fine. So, this is uncommon, you'll see it fairly often. Zada Hedron Grinder, downshift here, a 3/3 for 4. This card is not on Arena, I believe. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery card that targets only this, you copy it for each other creature it could target, and then you get to copy them all, which is pretty great. And then this is definitely a popular commander card. Honestly, a pretty powerful card. You know, if you're playing some pump spells, things like that. Card's cool. You know, it's a 3/3 for 4. It's not particularly exciting, so not going to see playing constructed. But as far as draft decks go, you know, this might make you play the extra pump spell, which is kind of cool. It's uncommon. You'll see a decent amount. And, yeah, kind of cool. It's a fun one. Moving on to Green, we get Finn the Fangbearer, which is a 2-mana 1/3 Death Touch, which is just good. It's fine by itself. Whenever creature you control, Death Touch just come with them to play. We get 2 poison counters, so it can solo your opponent in 5 shots. Not that that's likely, but it's, it's a thing that could happen. But most importantly, it's just a 2-mana 1/3 Death Touch, which is a perfectly serviceable card in limited. It's an uncommon. You'll also see this card fairly often. Just good. Fine 2-drop. Goreclaw, Terror of Qualsisma. We have a 4-mana 4/3. This is a rare. Creature spells you cast power 4 greater cost 2 less to cast. Whenever it attacks, each creature you control power 4 greater gets +1/+1 trample on turn. This card's gonna be pretty good, honestly. Because in a draft deck, a 4/3 for 4 is fine, and you're gonna have creatures power 4 greater. So this makes your expensive cards cheaper, which is awesome, and it makes your cards already in play get trample, which is cool too. So it also pumps itself as well. So it's a 5/4 attacker. Good card. Good draft card. Weird, a little weird, but cool. Wait. Finn killed Coma? I like Coma. Anyway. Rtanta Call to Hunt. 4-mana for the Demigod. Uncommon, star 3. Power for your green devotion. Each creature you control EDBs with an extra counter on it. This card's going to be insane. This card's going to be really, really good in limited. There's a lot of possible counter stuff happening already anyway. And this card was just good in general. Say it's a 3/3 or a 4/3, whatever. You can get bigger as the game goes on. Pumps all your teams. Yeah, this was very, very good in Theros draft. And I don't see why it wouldn't be good in regular draft also, with all the counter synergies in white and green. So, uncommon, you'll see it a lot, and it should be pretty good. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. This is the original Vorinclex, the 8-mana 7/6 trample. Tap your lands for double mana, and then your opponent's lands don't untap. 8 mana is a pretty dumb amount of mana. Obviously, if you can cast this, it's fine. It's not that much better than like a Colossal Dreadmaw, but I mean, if you need that in your deck, sure, but mostly pretty unexciting and limited. I think it's already in the format as well as Historic goes, so not very impactful and limited. Eudora, Grave Gardener. We have a 5-mana 5/5. I don't know what this card is. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. It's a forest. This reminds me of the piggies in Ender. What's the name of the book? Was the Ender's Game? Speaker for the Dead. Right, when they die, they plant you as a tree. Very, very strange. I assume this is a commander card. So basically, whenever your creature dies, you should get a land. So like that's fine. It's a 5/5 or 5. Again, these cards are being evaluated from the context of limited for the most part, because that's the biggest effect they have here. So a 5/5 or 5, it makes all your creatures die into lands. Is pretty good in limited. This card's fine. It ramps. And there are a number of cards like this that kind of do ramp, and there are some 8-drops in green, so like they could help you get there too, which is kind of cool. Interesting. I believe this card's new to Historic, but it's not going to do anything there, so. Egar, the Freezing Flame. Pretty good card in Kaldheim. It's a 3/3 for 3 with some upside. Whenever a creature or Planeswalker gets dealt excess damage, if a giant, wizard, or spell you control did damage, you draw a card. So good burn spells. There's like a the Convoke card that deals 6 damage. You'll draw a card often. Card's good, honestly. Well statted, and then it just has a lot of upside randomly. We just randomly draw a card off it, which is super cool. So uncommon, you'll see it a lot. Good card in the blue-red decks. Urixmenthes?
You're saying it wrong.
Maybe. Slumbering Isle, popular commander card, right? 4 mana for a Simic 12/12 legendary Kraken. It ETBs tap with 5 slumber counters on it. As long as it has a slumber counter on it, it's a land, not a creature. Whenever you cast a spell, you may remove a slumber counter from it, and it taps for a blue and a green. So it's basically 4 mana, ramp twice. It's like the weirdest mana rock of all time. And then as you cast spells, it goes to wake up, and then it turns into a 12/12, which is obviously insane. So this is a pretty cool limited card, honestly. You do take a turn off to cast it, but it does ramp you, which is kind of cool. And then you just keep playing Magic for 2 or 3 more turns, and then it's 12/12, which is cool. So pretty fun card that like most people haven't ever played, because it's like a weird commander card, and that's kind of cool, honestly. And yes, it wakes up with haste also, which is pretty cool. So pretty cool card. Definitely think it's a fun one. Cool limited card for sure. Definitely a fun oddball limited card. Atraxa. No, not that Atraxa. This is the OG Atraxa. Green, white, blue, black, 4/4, flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. So, almost unbeatable. Actually, I'm sorry, it's a first strike. It's still very good in combat, obviously. Beginning of your end step, proliferate. Very popular commander card. Obviously a good card. Unlimited, it's a 4/4 flying, vigilance, lifelink, death touch for 4. Very hard to cast, obviously. But if you can cast it, it's great. It's a mythic. Won't see it very often. Proliferate will actually matter a lot because there are a lot of plus encounters too. So this card, basically, if you can cast it in your draft deck, it's going to be insane. But good luck, you know. And it's not like Atraxa from the most recent set, where it costs 7 mana, so you like have time to cast it. If it costs 4, it's only a 4/4. So, you know, it is also very awkward with your opponent's battles because you grow them. But aside from that, you know, it's definitely a pretty powerful card. Actress, Oracle of Half-Truths, love this card. 4 mana, 3/2, menace, ETB, top 3 cards, make 2 piles, face down and face up. They choose one, you get it. Just card advantage for a 3/2, which is awesome. It's a rare, won't see it that often, but it's a super, super good card on rate. Great draft card, very good. Aurelia the War Leader. This is an old school card. 6 mana, 3/4, flying, vigilance, haste. Whenever it attacks for the first time, you untap it and get an extra combat step. So very powerful curve topper. It's obviously hard to cast and not really on theme with any of the set, but it's a mythic. It's good. It's powerful. It's a good draft card. This card is not on a historic, as far as I know, and this card can do some combo stuff as far as like getting extra combat step if you have like some sort of like sneak attack, something, whatever. So be aware of that, but probably not doing much, honestly. Cool in Brawl too, I guess. Brutaclad Telcor Engineer. This is a 6 mana 4/4. Creature tokens your opponent's creature tokens that you control have haste. Beginning of combat on your turn, make a 2/1 blue Phyrexian Mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Weird commander card. Obviously, in limited, this card is like fine. It is a 4/4, makes 2/1 immediately, and then can maybe make some weird copy stuff happen. But just a 4/4 that makes a 2/1 every turn is pretty good. Their artifacts kind of cool. Good draft card. Another real oddball card, but cool. Dina Soulsleeper, Golgari 2-drop, 1/3, uncommon. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses life. Sack a creature, and it gets +X/+O, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. A weird card because there really is very little life gain synergy in the set. There are the gain lands, which is kind of cool. So every time you play a gain land, they lose 1, but kind of just another oddball 1/3. Realistically, on rate, this card's okay, so it's fine. Azuri, Claw of Progress. This is a Cynic 4-drop 3/3. Whenever a creature of power 2 or less enters battlefield under your control, you get an experience counter. Beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is the number of experience counters that you have. Oh, so you get the counters? It's a weird card. Yeah, I mean, this card's obviously good and limited. It just like scales well, pumps your team. Yeah, sure. It's like fine. Kind of not really on theme with blue, but you know, blue, green, and white care about counters more than blue does. We could splash it maybe. It's a mythic, won't see it very often. Firesong and Sunspeaker. This was the card that was the buy a box promo, right? That was never a real card. This is a 6 mana 4/6, which is pretty big. Red instant sorcery spells you have control of lifelink. Whenever a white instant or sorcery spell causes you to gain life, this will deal 3 damage to target creature planeswalker. So I don't even know if there are any white instant sorcerers that gain life in this entire freaking set. So like very, very weird. But it's a 4/6 for 6, and then gives your red spells lifelink. So like that's kind of okay, I guess. It's just a weird. It's a weird one. Sure, it's fine. Furger, Judge of Valor. 5 mana 2/4 flying lifelink. Cast second spell and you draw a card. Basically, card's very good. Definitely, it's a good card. Good on rate. Decent body, can draw cards, good draft card, uncommon, you'll see it a lot. Grim Grin, Corpseborn, 5 mana for a 5/5, mythic. EDB tapped, doesn't untap. Attack creature to untap it, but a counter on it. And whenever it attacks, the destroy creature they control, but a counter on it. Very, very powerful card, obviously. You know, you're able to sack stuff and untap it, attack, kill things. It's a mythic, you won't see it very often, but very, very good draft card. Don't think it's on Arena, but it doesn't really matter for Historic because it's just not good enough for Constructed. But definitely a pretty powerful draft card if you open it. It's a mythic. But now here comes the fun part. All right, Here comes the fun part that I'm very excited about. Now, you might be like, Jim, why are you excited about this? I thought you hated companions. I hate the companion mechanic in Constructed. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. They've banned like half of them already. It's just stupid. I think the mechanics should be removed from Magic, from Constructed Magic. Unban all the companions and just remove the companion ability from Constructed. That being said, the companion mechanic in Limited is a hoot and a holler. And I almost wish these had the original companion text, because the old, before pre-nerf companions were so much fun in Ikoria Limited. That was an all-time great Limited format. And the companions being under the original rule were a large part of that. They're so much fun. You open one up and they're so good because the old companion rule was so good. But you got to twist your whole deck around it. You have to work for it really, really hard. Really, really cool. I'm stoked they're back. I'm sad they're still nerfed, honestly. You know, I would love it if they ban companions. This is a pipe dream. They ban companions in Constructed, ban the mechanic entirely, and then unnerf them for Limited. That would be the dream. I would love that. But regardless, so we have all 10 companions are going to be in this set, in the multiverse sheet, as rares. They will show up reasonably often. You know, a few of them will be open per draft. So let's go through them. If you didn't play Ikoria Limited, these are all very, very good. Some better than others, but Gyruda Doom Adept, 6 mana for a 6/6. The companion rule is that you must play only even mana values. Challenging, but possible. And again, the upside of the companion is you get a freaking 8th card. So you just start up 1 card to your opponent all the time. So it's very, very good. It's also a 6/6 ETBs, mill 4 cards, you return a creature. Super good. Very, very powerful. Hard to build around. This is not an easy companion to build. One you want to open in pack 1, if possible. But definitely very, very powerful. And one worth building around. They aren't in order. Oh, god damn it. I should put the companions together. My bad. Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. 5 mana for a Simic Legend. It's a 3/1. It has Cascade. Spells you cast with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. I mean, it's a fun card. Cascade is a very fun mechanic. But it's a 3/1 for 5. But you get a free spell off it also. It's fine. Honestly, it's a fine Limited card for sure. That's all it really is, though. Jegantha. This is going to be a tough one. Actually, it's not, actually. I don't know. I need to think about the double colors and stuff. They probably won't be that hard to play, actually. But Jegantha's obviously great. You can just play this card in your deck. It's just a Colosophy. It's easy to cast. But companioning it is pretty powerful also. Definitely a fun one to kind of work through as far as double color costs. You know what Jegantha does, obviously, though. Judah the Scourge Diva. This is a 2/2. Pumps up the creatures you control, and when things die, you get to ping things. Very powerful card. Going to be insanely good in the red-black sack deck in Limited, and it's already constructed, so very, very good. Azuri, Master of the Review. Rakdos 1/1. Whenever you sack a permanent, put a counter on this. When it dies, does damage equal to its power on a target. I have never seen this card before in my life. This card's very, very good. This card's going to be a huge deal in Limited. It's an uncommon. It's perfectly on theme with the Rakdos theme of the set, and it's also a pretty powerful card too. Big one. The uncommons are the most important ones. Just like Brothers War, those are the ones that show up the most. So like Chromatic Star and so on and so forth. Very, very important. This card's very, very good and a big boon to the Rakdos archetype. Kahira. Kahira is going to be tough. So in Ikoria, there were tons of cats, elementals, nightmares, dinosaurs, and beasts. So Companion in Kahira was like pretty easy and pretty powerful. Going to be much harder to do in this set. Probably the worst of the companions, unfortunately. You can just play it though. It's a 3/2, like whatever. But yeah, definitely not ideal. All the companions are here, all 10 of them. Kurungus the Chungus, one of my favorites. This is one of the funnest ones to companion because you can't play anything cost less than 3, so it's really, really hard. But it's so powerful when you cast it. Don't be afraid to just play this card in your deck. Also, you don't have to companion it. It's one of the best cards. One of the best companions to just cast naturally in your deck. You just play it as a 5/4 for 5 and just draw 3 cards or whatever. It's good, very, very good. Good draft card for sure. Croxa returns as a mythic. Obviously, very good Rakdos decks in draft. Obviously, very powerful. Can't really play it if you're not playing Rakdos, but like it's a mythic rare. So if you're in that spot, you're lucky. Good job. Lathiel, the Boundless, the Bounteous Dawn. This is a 4 mana Selesnya 2/2 lifelinker. Beginning of each end step, you gain life this turn. Distribute that many counters among creatures. Not much life gain in the set. Kind of a weird card because like it makes sense with the mechanic in green white being plus some counters and stuff like that. But it's very little life stuff going on. So like, I mean, I guess to gain lands, but it's 2/2 for 4. Not very exciting, honestly. Lurrus, one of the harder ones to companion. It was possible in Ikoria, and it was very good if you're able to do it, but it's very, very challenging. Lurrus is a card you just put in your deck, though. You know, it's hard to companion, but very easy to put in your deck. 3/2 lifelinker is great. Extra value. Yeah, for sure. Lutri, super fun. You gotta play Singleton playing in your draft deck. It can be awkward. It makes for a very fun drafting experience because, like, you end up taking a worse uncommon over a better common because you don't want to have duplicates. It's a very, very fun drafting experience. Very, very powerful card, obviously. And then, you know, copying your instant sorcery is going to be huge. Definitely big in the archetype as well. And you can just play it in your deck, obviously, too. But pretty good card to companion, but be aware when you're drafting it how it's going to work. Nimbus Reborn, probably one of the worst draft card. You know, like it's one of the bad. I mean, obviously you can maybe be 5 colors and cast this, but it's not going to be very good. Obviously, it's going to be hard, very, very hard to do. Could happen if you're 5 colors. I'm sure we'll try and do it in Bronze Mythic, but it's a Mythic we'll see very often. Obosh, another one that's pretty hard to do. I think Obosh is a little harder than Gyruda is because playing evens means you can at least play 2 drops. Playing Obosh is sort of like playing Karuga, where you can't play cards unless they cost 3 or more because there aren't many 1-drops to play. So Obosh is a little harder, but it is pretty powerful. Honestly, also a card you can just cast. It's very, very good card. Just cast without companioning it. But you can companion it. It is pretty powerful in that regard. Rada, Coalition Warlord. This is a recent card. 4 mana for a 3/4 Domain, which is going to be weird. Obviously, another oddball 3/3. Not really that great filler kind of card. Wrath, whether I'd install it. Oh, I love this card. I was a huge fan of this card when it was legal and limited. 2 mana 1/3. Cast an instant or sorcery card. You can tap 2 creatures you control and draw a card, and then pump the squad. A little awkward because this card's going to be really, really good with the blue-red, like tokens and stuff like that. That makes it harder to use the ability, the white-white ability. But great card to splash. Great card in those decks. This is going to be a big deal for, you know, if you're playing in blue-red, you might want to take that extra white dual land just in case you open a Wrath or gets past a Wrath. It's an uncommon. You'll see it a lot. Yeah, card's definitely very, very good. Rayav, Master Smith, Boros 2/2. Whenever creature you control that is enchanted or equipped attacks, it gets double strike. Again, another Saram-like card. There are very few cards in the actual set that care about equipment, but there are a few of them on the sheet that are uncommons and rares. So this improves the value of the random like common equipments because this is obviously a pretty powerful card. It's also just a bear too, so pretty good. New card for Stork. If it was a warrior, maybe Hammer Time applications, but not really. So, Rona Shield's Faithful is a 4 mana 3/4. Cast into sorcery, be drained for 1. Cast in your graveyard. If you're blue-black, this card's gonna be excellent because the self mill is a big mechanic in blue-black, and milling over this card and then casting it's super awesome. So, good card, good draft card for your blue-black deck. Shana Green-White, it's size for your creatures, pretty good 2-drop. You're playing on creatures Green-White, not amazing, just fine draft kind of card. Taigam, Ojtai Master, 4 mana 4/8 3/4. Instant sorcery and dragon spells you control can't be countered. Sure. If you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if it attack this turn, that spell gains rebound. That's pretty fun. New card to a Stork. Not good enough there, probably. Again, feels pretty good. Kind of adjacent to like the blue-red draft archetype as far as splashing goes, but pretty powerful card. Tessa Karlov, 4 mana 4/8 2/4. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability or a permanent to trigger, it triggers twice, and your tokens have vigilance and lifelink. So this card is going to be insanely good in the black-white draft archetype with all of your Phyrexian flippy thingies or whatever. Vigilance lifelink is obviously awesome. Triggered ability part, not super relevant most likely, but this card's really, really good in drafts. It's going to be excellent with all those tokens, which is very, very good. Yamori, probably the hardest companion to companion. I mean, not as hard as Kahira, I guess, but very, very difficult to companion to play only all creatures. But it's a 4/5 or 4. Just play it in your deck, whatever. It's totally fine too. Yarok Desecrated, pretty busted card. 3/5 lifelink, death touch for 5. doubles all your ETB effects. Obviously, a lot of those in all colors, and it's a little hard to cast, but it's pretty good once a mythic. Won't see it very often. Yorion, also difficult to companion, but not impossible and very, very powerful. But also, you just play it in your deck too. It's a 4/5 flyer with insane ability. Really, really powerful. Zadar of Dawnwalker, also difficult to companion, but not impossible. Pretty hard, honestly. This was really good in the cycling deck, right? Because all the cycling cards had active abilities because they were site cycling. But so it's gonna be hard to do for limited, honestly, to companion, but still fine. It's a 3/3, has an ability, whatever. That's it. That's all the cards. We did it. Complete set review is complete. Every single card in the set. No awards for this section because this is all like reprints, stuff like that. And this is mostly for limited, honestly. But definitely going to be very, very important for the limited format. All of these cards. Pay close attention to them because they're going to be a huge part of the format. And that's it. We're done. Took us about 6 hours to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. YouTube folks, love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the sections, every card. It's on the YouTube. If you missed it, go watch it. And like, comment, subscribe. And peace.